Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Lex Webster, Chief Commercial Officer at Exinity Group, which aims to help a new generation in emerging markets become confident, empowered investors. Lex, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Great to be here. Thanks very much for having me back.
You got it. And you've been in the retail trading industry for over 2 decades now. What are some of the biggest changes that you see today in terms of clients' trading behaviors and habits?
Thanks very much for reminding me that. I think the evolution of trading and investment is really a story of 2 parts. In the one part, we have a human story where really not a great deal's changed. The motivations behind why people start trading the financial markets are the same. People want to build a better life for themselves and their family. And so we're continuing to see clients today coming in to do that through trading and investing. I think the second part of the story is a huge amount of change. Over the last 20 years, we've seen a massive transition in technology away from downloadable desktop applications, which are dark and have many flashing lights in them, over to mobile-led applications, which are much more simple, easy to understand, and really appeal to the new generation of investors that are coming through millennials and Generation Z. And with those guys, we see a greater interest in some of the more leveraged or high-risk products than we perhaps saw 20 years ago. But really, I think it's important to stress, it's a human story. People still want to use trading investment to build a better life for themselves and their families. And that's what at Exinity we're trying to help them do.
Lex, do you think retail trading is a trend that's growing in the African region?
I think certainly. I think if you look at Africa and the trends that are occurring there are many fast-growing economies, and within those economies there are a lot of young people in their late 20s, early 30s who are part of the emerging middle classes in those countries. Those guys are highly aspirational, both in terms of what they want to do in work, but also what they want to do in their personal lives, and the economies are much more fluid. So in many cases, if you travel through South Africa or Nigeria, you'll find people who really want to get into trading and investing to supplement their careers, to supplement their incomes, and to help them both build and protect wealth. I think that motivation, that drive is what's pushing the African continent to be much more important in terms of our business today.
What do you think is driving the growth in Africa and really building this interest in retail trading?
If we go back to our story of 2 parts, the human story is those economies are growing, people are becoming wealthier, people have more desire to build and protect their wealth and their future. So that's driving the ability of people to trade and invest. The other side is technology. The proliferation of mobile networks across Africa has meant that cheap smartphones are ever more accessible to folks across the continent. If you go to countries like Kenya, they have some of the best mobile payment networks in the world. So that accessibility of technology through mobile, and combined with a young population which is ambitious and determined to invest and grow their futures, is really what's pushing along the continent in terms of quite exceptional growth in client numbers, particularly this year.
Where do you see financial services and retail trading in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think if we're thinking of specifically the continent of Africa, we've got some challenges in terms of delivering products to those guys, which is relevant, which is interesting, which is engaging. The clients and traders in Africa are really looking for not just an access route to trade, but they want education. They want features and services within their trading products that's right alongside there with the trading application to allow them to understand what the opportunities are in the market, to understand what risks they're taking, to understand how they're performing, and to try and link the interests that they have in everyday life with their trading and investments. So I think we're going to see financial companies just like ours looking at building really interesting and engaging products that meet those needs through mobile device, which is the most common and accessible route to reach those clients.
All right, Lex, great to meet with you. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks for having me back.